In 2025, a political earthquake is rumbling beneath America's foundation, and it's not coming from Washington. It's erupting from 10 U.S. states that have declared war on Trump's legacy with shockingly low approval ratings. These states aren't just disapproving of Trump, they're rejecting him outright, with numbers that should terrify his re-election team. From the liberal bastions of New England to the fiery resistance on the West Coast, Trump's approval has cratered. So, what's behind this nationwide backlash? And why are some states treating Trump like a political virus they're desperate to quarantine? This isn't just about red versus blue anymore. It's about a fundamental fracture in the American identity, and these 10 states are leading the revolt. We're counting down the places where Trump is most hated in 2025 based on verified approval ratings and on-the-ground sentiment. If you thought Trump fatigue had peaked, think again. Number 10. Connecticut. Connecticut may not grab national headlines, but behind its suburban calm lies a quiet storm of political rejection. Trump's approval in this well-educated, economically powerful state has plunged to a mere 40%, and that figure continues to fall. With nearly 60% of voters actively disapproving, Connecticut's distaste for Trump stems from his controversial fiscal decisions, attacks on healthcare, day crime, and divisive rhetoric that doesn't sit well with the state's professional class. The Nutmeg State has leaned blue for decades, but Trump's presence accelerated the divide. Residents cite cuts to public services, rollback of environmental protections, and tax breaks for the ultra-wealthy as direct attacks on Connecticut's social priorities. Even suburban Republicans have distanced themselves, quietly shifting their support elsewhere or dropping out of political engagement altogether. And here's the twist. Connecticut's resistance isn't just ideological, it's generational. Younger voters, especially college-educated millennials and Gen Z, are overwhelming in their anti-Trump stance, creating a political firewall that's nearly impossible to breach. Is Trump's brand of politics permanently banned in this state? Number 9. New Jersey. Long known for its gritty independence and no-nonsense politics, has made one thing clear in 2025. It's done with Trump. His approval rating has stagnated at just 40%, with over 60% of residents voicing strong disapproval. From urban centers like Newark to wealthy suburbs like Montclair, there's a fierce opposition to Trump's policy, especially his stances on infrastructure, immigration, and social justice. The Garden State once flirted with GOP leadership in the past, but the Trump era ripped open deep divides. Residents point to his mishandling of federal disaster funds, repeated attacks on the media, and lack of action on climate resilience as reasons for their disgust. Even moderate voters who once supported him now say, "We've seen enough." And that's just the beginning. New Jersey's demographic shift is accelerating, more diverse, more educated, and more politically active. As Trump doubles down on his populist message, New Jersey's electorate is sprinting the other way. Will Trump ever regain ground in the very state that once gave rise to Chris Christie? Number 8. Washington. You'd think a tech-driven, environmentally conscious state like Washington would be ideologically allergic to Trump, and you'd be right. With an approval rating of just 36%, Trump's support here is collapsing like a badly coded app. Nearly 64% of Washingtonians outright disapprove of his leadership, especially on issues like climate change, social equity, and science denial. Seattle, the epicenter of Pacific Northwest liberalism, has long been a hotbed of anti-Trump activism. But even rural parts of the state have seen a noticeable shift as younger, more progressive voices take the lead. The disconnect between Trump's hardline rhetoric and Washington's innovation-first ethos couldn't be starker. What's more, Washington's tech elite and environmentally conscious voters view Trump as the antithesis of their values. From blocking clean energy funding to attacking public health officials during the pandemic, Trump has burned nearly every bridge with this state. Can he even show his face in King County without sparking protest? Number 7. Delaware. Ironically, Trump's fiercest opposition comes from President Biden's own backyard. Delaware, Biden's home state, shows Trump absolutely no love in 2025. With a paltry 36% approval rating, over 64% of voters in this small but politically active state want nothing to do with Trump's return to power. Delawareans care deeply about healthcare access, education, funding, and environmental preservational areas where they say Trump's policies have done irreparable harm. His stance on abortion, Medicaid cuts, and urban renewal programs have only added fuel to the fire. The people here aren't just disapproving, they're offended. And let's not forget the symbolic battle happening in the state's own narrative. Biden versus Trump isn't just a political rivalry, it's a statewide identity clash. Delaware voters are using every poll, ballot, and social media platform to reject Trump's influence. Is this the most personal rejection Trump faces in 2025? Number 6. Rhode Island. Tiny but mighty, Rhode Island is punching above its weight in the war against Trump. With a dismal 36% approval rating, Trump finds few allies in this state, where nearly two-thirds of the population is ready to move on from his era. Rhode Island may be small geographically, but its political clarity is huge. Residents here prioritize progressive values like public education, clean energy, and community healthcare values they say Trump has trampled on with reckless abandon. His history of slashing federal funding for local programs has only widened the rift. Even among conservatives, there's growing discomfort with Trump's confrontational style. Rhode Island's liberal leanings date back generations, but Trump's rise brought a new urgency to their activism. Anti-Trump sentiment is now woven into the fabric of the state's political DNA. Could Rhode Island be a model for how small states can mount big resistance? Number 5. New York. It's the state Trump once called home, but now New York wants nothing to do with him. With just 38% approval in 2025 and over 62% disapproval, the Empire State has turned its back on the man who once dominated its tabloids, real estate, and TV screens. New Yorkers haven't forgotten Trump's chaotic presidency, his controversial business history, or his inflammatory rhetoric. From immigrant communities in Queens to progressive voters in Brooklyn, Trump is viewed less as a political figure and more as a toxic brand. Even upstate New York, once a conservative stronghold, has cooled considerably. Trump Tower may still cast a shadow over Manhattan, but politically, Trump has been exiled. His comments on crime, immigration, and social unrest are seen as direct attacks on the very soul of the state. How did the man who once ruled the city that never sleeps become its political pariah? Number 4. Massachusetts. The intellectual heart of America has no time for anti-science populism, and Trump's dismal 32% approval rating proves it. With nearly 68% disapproval, this state's elite academic institutions, healthcare infrastructure, and progressive policies have built an almost impenetrable wall against Trump's influence. Bostonians remember his attacks on Dr. Fauci, the CDC, and pandemic science all too well, his climate change denialism and attempts to roll back LGBTQ protections only deepen the divide. Even among fiscally conservative residents, Trump's combative style and disregard for facts turned him into an unwelcome figure. Massachusetts is not just rejecting Trump, it's actively working to build a political and cultural future without him. With rising stars in the Democratic Party emerging from this state, Trump's influence here has evaporated. Is this the intellectual death knell of Trumpism? Number 3. Maryland. Trump faces near total rejection. His approval rating has cratered to just 30%, and the trend isn't slowing down. Over 70% of Marylanders disapprove of his leadership, especially in areas like healthcare, civil rights, and education. In this state, Trump isn't just unpopular, he's a symbol of everything wrong with modern politics. The diverse suburbs around D.C. have become epicenters of anti-Trump resistance. Voters here are highly educated, policy-driven, and socially conscious, and they say Trump offers none of what they stand for. Even moderate conservatives are leaning toward more centrist alternatives. Maryland is showing what a post-Trump Republican Party might look like, one that's forced to completely reinvent itself or die. Could this be the state that leads the GOP's ideological overhaul? Number 2. Hawaii. If there's one state that utterly rejects the Trump doctrine, it's Hawaii. With a 28% approval rating and over 70% disapproval, this island paradise is a political nightmare for Trump. Voters here overwhelmingly cite his stance on immigration, environmental destruction, and cultural insensitivity as deal breakers. Hawaii's identity is deeply multicultural, rooted in indigenous respect and environmental harmony, everything Trump's policies have clashed with. His indifference to climate change is seen as a direct threat to island life, while his anti-immigrant tone is deeply offensive to Hawaii's Asian and Pacific Islander communities. The message from Hawaii is clear. Trump doesn't belong here. He never did. Is it any surprise that this state leads nearly every national metric for anti-Trump sentiment? Number 1, Vermont. With just 26% approval and a staggering 74% disapproval rate, this is the state that hates Trump the most. Known for its progressive politics, environmental consciousness, and independent spirit, Vermont views Trump as the complete antithesis of its values. Bernie Sanders' territory has never been fertile ground for right-wing populism, but Trump's rise supercharged Vermont's resistance. His climate policies, anti-healthcare moves, and authoritarian tone have only solidified the hatred. Here, Trump isn't debated, he's dismissed outright. Vermont sends a powerful message in 2025, not in our state, not ever again. Is this the political future of America or just the beginning of Trump's national unraveling? 10 states, tens of millions of Americans. One message: we're done with Trump. As the 2025 political storm brews, these states have drawn their lines in the sand. Whether driven by education, economics, or pure ideological disgust, their rejection is clear and growing louder. So here's the question. If entire regions of the country no longer believe in Trump's leadership, how long until the rest of the nation follows? Or will this division only deepen as 2026 looms? Let us know in the comments. Is your state next to turn on Trump? Or are these states just outliers in a divided nation? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because what's coming next might just rewrite American history.